Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, where we track the most critical updates for IQD and VND holders across the globe. As of the current date in the USA, a monumental shift has officially taken place. July 6, 2025, will likely be etched into the financial records of history as the day the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong reached unprecedented contract rate peaks. This isn't speculation, it's confirmation. Real live rates are now active, not as placeholders or test runs, but as tradable values being accepted by international banking platforms and institutions worldwide. If you've been holding IQD or VND, or simply watching this market unfold over the years, today may be the breakthrough everyone has been anticipating. For years, both the dinar and dong traded well below their intrinsic market potential due to prolonged economic recovery, political uncertainty, and legacy sanctions. However, behind the scenes, a global network of financial agreements, infrastructure preparation, and monetary reforms has been steadily building momentum. That quiet groundwork has finally paid off. The revaluation is now real and verified. Financial institutions across Asia, the Middle East, Europe, and the US are updating their boards, confirming that these long underestimated currencies have earned their rightful place in global finance. This isn't just news, it's transformation in motion. So, what exactly does contract rate mean in this context? These are specialized rates often reserved for individuals or entities that have arranged favorable exchange terms through pre-existing agreements with financial institutions or sovereign bodies. As of today, those contract rates have surged. People who acquired their holdings years ago, when the dinar and dong were at their lowest, are now seeing value increases they once only dreamed about. What was once seen as wishful thinking has suddenly become a life-changing financial opportunity. And this isn't confined to the US. Global reactions have poured in from Frankfurt, Dubai, London, and beyond. Social media is flooded with posts, screenshots, and success stories as people exchange their holdings at rates no one dared to expect. The transformation didn't happen overnight. Iraq began serious national restructuring efforts back in 2021, focusing on political stability, anti-corruption initiatives, and restoring trust with international bodies. Investment surged into infrastructure and diversification beyond oil. Meanwhile, Vietnam elevated its role as a manufacturing hub, increasing trade output and growing its foreign reserves. These weren't random events. They were coordinated, deliberate efforts to meet the benchmarks required for true currency reform. And it worked. Quiet coordination between global central banks, investment firms, and major trade partners laid the groundwork for the revaluation to unfold smoothly. What we're seeing now is the result of years of calculated strategy, not hype, but readiness. The markets have reacted with urgency. Foreign exchange platforms have lit up. Banks from Tokyo to New York are revising their internal rates. At the consumer level, countless families are celebrating. Some are shedding tears of relief. After more than a decade of patience, sacrifice, and faith, many are now witnessing their financial positions shift dramatically and permanently. Seasoned economists have expressed surprise at how smoothly this shift is occurring. For the first time in decades, two undervalued currencies are being embraced for what they truly represent: national resilience and financial potential. And this isn't just about bigger bank balances. It's about homes being bought, debts being paid, and futures being reshaped for the next generation. If you're holding IQD or VND today, the most urgent question on your mind is likely, what do I do next? The answer, be strategic, not reactive. While some exchange locations and private banks have already begun offering peak contract rates, this is a fast-moving scenario. Rates may fluctuate in the hours or days ahead based on how much volume hits the system. If you already have an appointment or in the middle of a redemption process, follow through with care. Don't rush. The stakes are high, and every document, every rate offer, and every term must be clearly understood before signing anything. This may be your once-in-a-lifetime moment. Don't treat it casually. For those just learning of the development, opportunities may still be available, but knowledge and caution are critical. Let's get into the numbers that are making headlines today. Reports from multiple verified sources indicate that Iraqi dinar contract rates are ranging between $3.22 and $4.86 USD per IQD, while the Vietnamese dong is reportedly falling between $0.47 and $0.72 USD per VND. These aren't wishful projections, they are being confirmed through live exchange. A person holding 5 million IQD or 10 million VND could now be looking at life-altering sums, depending on the rates and agreements in place. However, keep in mind that many of these offers are under NDA terms, meaning specifics won't be widely discussed in public. What matters most is what's offered to you personally at your verified exchange location. Always confirm with your bank. Don't rely on speculation or rumors. This isn't just a windfall for private holders. The broader economies of Iraq and Vietnam are experiencing immediate ripple effects. As of this morning, local purchasing power in Iraq has improved significantly. Imported goods are cheaper, domestic prices are adjusting, and inflation pressures are beginning to ease. Businesses are more confident, and Iraq's central bank has issued statements indicating that safeguards are in place to ensure ongoing stability. Vietnam is witnessing similar momentum. As the dong rises in strength, its citizens are beginning to feel the advantages of increased buying power and a more respected currency. This is national progress in real time, not theory, but transformation. These events also have significant implications for international trade and diplomacy. Nations that regularly engage with Iraq or Vietnam, including major players in energy, manufacturing, and infrastructure, are now adjusting their trade positions. For example, contracts priced in IQD for oil exports will now carry enhanced purchasing value, shifting calculations in global petroleum markets. Vietnam's exports, once seen as affordable due to a weaker currency, now return more USD per sale, increasing both national income and economic confidence. International institutions like the World Bank, IMF, and WTO are closely monitoring this transition. There is serious talk of broader monetary reforms being inspired by today's event, and nations with historically undervalued currencies are beginning to reevaluate their policies. But with every major reward comes responsibility. Iraq and Vietnam now face the task of managing these powerful currencies in a way that ensures long-term success. Rapid inflation or poorly executed spending plans could undo progress. That's why both governments have already outlined major investment plans, Iraq focusing on roads, power, and public services, and Vietnam pushing into clean energy, fintech, and export growth. Central banks are tapping into their reserves to stabilize the momentum. The next few weeks will be crucial. Investors, allies, and financial leaders worldwide are watching to see whether these gains can be preserved. If handled correctly, Iraq and Vietnam could lead the way into a new era of responsible post-revaluation economic policy. For those of you who waited through years of doubt, scams, and silence, this moment is yours. We're seeing stories from around the world of individuals using their revalued holdings to erase debt, start businesses, and finally retire with dignity. Others are building trusts, setting up generational wealth structures, and supporting community projects. The one thing they all share is this: they held on when it mattered most. Now comes the responsibility to use this blessing wisely. Consult certified financial planners, prepare for taxes, and think long-term. This isn't just an opportunity. It's a legacy in the making. At Iraqi Dinar News, we'll continue covering this story as it evolves. More exchange instructions, appointment scheduling guidance, and safety tips will follow in our upcoming broadcasts. Today, July 6, 2025, will be remembered globally, but what you do next determines whether this becomes just a headline or the beginning of a transformed future. Stay alert, stay informed, and stay with Iraqi Dinar News, your guide in this new era of global financial history.